Hi, this is Lada from Astrolada.com, and these are your October 2018 monthly horoscopes for each of the 12 signs. And as always, I'd like to start with a general feel of the whole month. For all the 12 signs will be the same introduction. Please listen to it because it's important. Everyone will feel this. Well, this month in October, there will be no planets in fire except the North Node, but that's not even a planet. Which means that we might be feeling a little bit less energetic, a little bit less enthusiastic and excited, especially the fire signs like Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius might feel a bit more on a downer. But this month is not meant for us to be so exciting. Actually, the universe knows its job because currently we're also going to have in October quite a few planets in Scorpio, which is very deep, intense, emotional. Uh, and especially Venus going retrograde there, which is all about deep emotional reevaluations. And not having fire planets actually can be a good thing because the other planets are in Earth signs and in air signs, so this will give us a bit more grounding during those emotional evaluations that we're doing in October, a little bit more practicality through the earth signs, a little bit more rationality and clarity from the air signs, from the sun in the air sign. Ah, so the most important thing though this month is that Venus is going to be retrograde in the sign of, basically the whole month is in the sign of Scorpio. So there will be some very deep psychological reevaluations of our values, our self-worth, of some of us, our relationships, of our finances, which sign it's on a bit different level, and they'll be very intense. They'll be taken out of because Scorpio is also a sign of the biggest transformations on a deep psychological level. This is not some superficial change that's going to happen in our life. This is going to be for each person on a different area of their life, some very profound transformation that you, and Scorpio is like all or nothing, black or white. So you would have, you with your evaluation ability, which is Venus, you would decide that something is either not worth to have any more in your life, and with the ruthless energy of Scorpio, where Venus is going to be and the helpful aspect, the stressful aspect from Mars, the ruler of Venus in Scorpio, we're going to either cut something out completely from our life, or we're going to decide that that's it. I'm going to recommit much deeper. I'm going to involve myself emotionally, psychologically, financially, emotionally, on a much deeper level, which is the other extreme of Scorpio, to something, to someone, to some vision or whatever in our life, depending where it's happening in your horoscope. So we'll be either cutting off something from our life, or totally embracing it deeply and totally like making it our own, possessing it, owning it, or taking control of it fully. And really, Venus is planet of love, recommitting to it with a deeper love. So there'll be intense transformations, very emotional, and hopefully those planets that are mostly in earth signs that will ground us and make us take more practical decisions, and in air, more reasonable decisions will help this process. But there is also another thing. Jupiter is in the last degrees, in the last 10 degrees of Scorpio this month. So for everyone in different area of their life, there will be some new powerful opportunities coming as well, because Jupiter is in on new 10 degrees. It hasn't been there since 12 years. So it's very interesting because they're both in the same sign. So in the same area of your life, you would be ruthlessly removing something or very deeply reevaluating and recommitting to something through Venus. And at the same time, some new opportunities will be opening for you. You first remove something, and then those new opportunities by the end of the month will start flooding in, or the other way around. Maybe those new opportunities start coming and flooding in from the same area in your life, while you're deciding that you want to remove the dead wood, which is Scorpio is the planet, the sign of death, and Venus is the planet of evaluation, and you would lovingly let go of something and let it die because something new is flooding into your life, some new opportunities, some new visions, some new people or ideas. So that's generally the whole overview for the month. And now let's check out for each sign, and check out your ascendant, sun, or moon sign. The three of them, basically, if you have time, where we talk about Venus retrograde and Jupiter moving forward. So for Sagittarius, those deep transformations are happening on an invisible level. It might not be obvious at all to the people around you. It might not be even obvious to you. It might be happening in your dream state, in your dream. Something from the past might be coming back so you can re-experience it and release it and heal it. Because the 12th house, where Venus is going retrograde, is the house of dreams, of the subconscious, even of past lifetimes. You might even dream about the past life love, or love from earlier in this lifetime, and might not be able to meet them life face in face unless you have, so your Venus in Scorpio, for example, like many Sagittarius who have Venus or Mercury in Scorpio, and if they haven't released some pain from a past relationship, they can meet actually directly face to face with this partner. But if you don't have Venus there, in Scorpio, if you're Sagittarius, just say Sagittarius rising, Moon in Sagittarius, or Sagittarius ascending, then this releasing is happening on the imperceptible astral levels, almost like healing is given to you from divine beings, because the two benefics, Venus and Jupiter, in your 12th house, and the 12th house is the house of endings, the past lifetimes, especially the traumatic such, because it's in the sign of Scorpio, very traumatic, dark. People born on the Sagittarius, they are more joyful, they say, and positive, because they've broken through the darkness of the past, because the 12th house of past lives is in Scorpio. They had dark incarnations in the past, difficult ones, traumatic, and they've broken through that darkness and they've come to the light now. But it's still there. The pain is there. We've usually buried behind, and it's some kind of a purging process that will happen for some of you. It can be good if you go right now to a psychologist or to a counselor, or if you have very deep private conversation with someone, not on Facebook where everyone, 12 house is private, hidden, where you can share a lot of the things that kind of are even in your dreams or subconscious, or feelings, any imperceptible, gentle feelings, that for some traumas that will come to the surface to be healed. This is what Venus wants to do, to be revisited. Something can remind you of that and to be released. 12th house about letting go, releasing. Scorpio is about deep transformative healing, and and it can be in regards to relationships. Venus is there, as we said. There might be some clarifying conversations in private with a hidden past love. I've seen clients who have Venus in the 12th house retrograde when they reconnect with a lover secretly, for example. And it might be on Facebook or something that you reconnect secretly. It's not going to be in public. It's not going to be like, oh, we're together, now we're joined. You're doing some either clarifying conversations or clarifying reconnection, so you can release this and heal it, or so you can even resume it in secret again, if that's what you want to do. But there is danger from that, or if you're excited, the possibility. Depends where you stand in regards to that. Because 12 house is about completions, it might be also you are generally reevaluating and putting a closing chapter in your life in something to do with relationships, something to do with partnerships, and it's not something dramatic that in public, that's it. It's almost like it's the end of it, and you're letting it go, like gently, you're letting that's it, and it's finished, and you're releasing it. You're basically, it's like offering it to the universe as offering, and it's almost like a burden is being released from you in a gentle way, not with the axe. Some subconscious burden or pain that's connected to relationships, that's connected to values, to self-worth, to self-love, which is what Venus is, or even to finances, to resources, to material things. There might be some expenses with Venus retrograde in the 12th house. This usually happens, I've seen it quite often, but some expenses that are might be about you spending a bit more, but on something pleasurable, on something. 12th house rules expenses, money. Venus is money. It's like throwing money to the air, but it's for maybe a long holiday. That can be a good time. Or maybe for like going to an ashram or meditation, or for something that is more spiritual, that is healing your soul somehow, that is more private and introspective. In worst case scenario, on drugs, something that makes you get disconnected from reality, spending on such things, on hidden affairs. That's, I don't wish it on anyone, but if you have such proclivities, Venus retrograde in your 12th house will intensify those, that you spend on kind of hidden things. private things, or things that are about dissolution. And also you might be revisiting some illusions about the past, about some lover or loved one or creative project, which Venus rules all about. And you might start realizing the misconceptions and deceptions that you've had. Maybe you've put someone on a pedestal, maybe idealized someone. 12th house is the house of dreaming and wishing and being wistful and imagination. So in your imagination, you can. I even had a friend who finally was able to let go of someone she didn't have closure with for years, for 2 years before that. But she said, because I couldn't meet him, and even when I met him, he would never give her anything back for her to feel the healing. When Venus went retrograde in her 12th house, she had a conversation in her head with him, the imagination, and she wrote a letter for him in private. And she said it's kind of, she reworked it in a spiritual way. And she said, ever since then, I haven't felt pain towards that relationship. I've released it, and it was amazing. It happened like by magic. But you have to do something with your imagination for that. On another level, Venus retrograde in your 12th house can mean that you're uh, um, completing 12 houses, ending, completing some creative project, Venus, or completing a relationship with a woman, Venus, or friendship with a woman. Or it can indicate that you're uh, completing something to do, some project connected to women, some project connected to design, to art, and you're maybe doing some research there as well, final kind of touches as well. But you're doing it in private. And it's great time for people of the imagination, say like a cartoonist who draws, or someone, a designer who has to finish their collection, or someone who makes computer games and they have to use their imagination 12th house to put the final touches on the on their or to redo them of their designs of some sort. So you can be doing something in private behind the scenes that is more creative, that is more imaginative, that is more connected with art, with beauty, with design, and you might be transforming it fully because you're dissatisfied with something. So you have to either edit it or transform it in some way. Uh, so yes, but even if you have to let go of something, Jupiter is in your 12th house. You're protected, and Jupiter is moving in. And Jupiter is you, wherever it goes, and it's moving in the last degrees of Scorpio. And I think that whatever releases you have to do, because after that, from November, Jupiter enters your sign, so you start feeling way more empowered. You're coming out on the stage from November onwards. You're coming up to be to open new horizons for your. Maybe you won't feel it immediately in November, but sometime after the next throughout the next 12 months after that. But you're coming into your own power. You're coming to take charge. So now you're October, you're researching something still, you're letting go of something, you're healing, and you have a lot of help from the invisible worlds, from benefic entities or ancestors who've passed away, who are helping this process of release happen less painfully. Benefics, Venus and Jupiter, who are helping this healing happen in a natural way, just like the leaf when it's dry falling down without being ripped out through the wind or by a child or whatever. So this is one natural process of uh, maturation, of completion. And in this October, you might be dissolving things, but you're ready to move on after that. You're from November onwards, and you're. It's very spiritual time for you, Sagittarius. You feel it spiritualizing. You might feel like you want to do something on your own, in your own privacy, that all the pleasures and joys come to you either from your imagination or by reading a book privately at home or by meditating or even researching and studying something about your future or about something spiritual. The 12th house rules all of those things, and that can be a fantastic time actually to go do some solitary work from a place that is far away from your typical environment, like go on an island. If you can travel to a faraway country or to an ashram, it can be a fantastic time, or just spend a bit more time with you and don't and enjoy this last month of when you're having a bit of a release, when you're able to uh, merge with the whole and to take it more easy and let go of things, because after that, when Jupiter enters your sign, fast things will start developing as new opportunities, new horizons, and you won't have time again for your emotional, spiritual healing and enjoy those last few months, even being lazy, Okay, um, so that's what I have for you, Sagittarius. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next month.